Hey guys, it's DC here and welcome to the Daily Hack. For anyone new here, the Daily Hack is a video I do every couple of days about the biggest news stories in cybersecurity, going over large data leaks and exploits, hacks, etc. I also go through the Try Hack Me leaderboards at the end and see who's currently smashing it out on the CTFs and up ahead in first place to fifth place. The first article is about hackers exploiting a 0-day in the Sophos XG firewall, and a fix has also been released. So basically Sophos has fixed a 0-day SQL injection vulnerability in their XG firewall system after a bunch of reports that hackers were actively exploiting these firewalls. Sophos says that on April 22nd, there was a suspicious field value being displayed in a customer's Sophos XG firewall in the management interface, which then caused this investigation to happen. The attack apparently affected systems configured either with HTTP or HTTPS administration services on the user portal of the WAN zone. So yeah, depending on the configuration of your user zone for your XG firewall for Sophos, then that's sort of what makes it depend on if your firewall could be hacked into or not. It gave users access to the management dashboard as well as the usernames and passwords of administration accounts for the firewall. So if your firewall was publicly facing as well, then that could cause some pretty serious issues. The good news is that Sophos has released a fix for the firewall. So this vulnerability is no longer relevant, except for people who are still using older firmware versions of this particular firewall model release. They've said that they're trying to roll out an automatic fix rollout for these firewalls. So if you do have one, have a look at getting the latest firmware. Otherwise, there's probably going to be an outage period, which you probably want to be aware of if you're running these in production. I've put a link in the description to an article that explains exactly how you can tell if your firewall has been compromised or not. So have a look at that if maybe you're concerned. This week in ransomware, we saw Cognizant suffering the Maze ransomware cyber attack, which was pretty serious, as well as a fake SMB host exploit, which was installing ransomware on systems all over the place. They were two pretty massive ransomware attacks, I guess, but yeah, most of those sort of systems have already been patched, which is good. Cognizant is now in recovery stage, which is, I guess, good for them, considering they're one of the largest IT service providers in the world. But yeah, I mean, like this week, there was a lot of ransomware hacks, and ransomware is still on the rise as we see pretty much all the time. But yeah, it's interesting to see that different places are adopting different methods to protect their environments, and of course, things are ever changing as they always are in cybersecurity. On to the last story, and it's a little bit local for me, actually. It is definitely local for me, and it's all about the COVID Safe app, which the Australian government has released just yesterday. A bit of background on this app. So basically, the government wants to be able to track if you have come in contact with someone who has had COVID-19. And the app, I guess, is a pretty good idea. So basically, the way they do it is by Bluetooth tokens being received between phones. You have to opt in to install it or not. The government is obviously urging people to install it so that they can potentially track who has the virus and who's been in contact with those people, instead of using the current method, which is to basically ask that person who has contracted COVID-19 to say, okay, who have you been in contact with? And of course, they don't know everyone they've been in contact with, and oftentimes they've gone to like a beach or a shopping center and they've walked past, hundreds, thousands of people, and they just have no idea who they've been in contact with. So the idea of this app is so that these people who they come in contact with will then be notified on their phone that they were in contact with that person who has the virus. Now, I can see already there's lots of eyebrows being raised about the privacy concerns of this app, and there is quite a few privacy concerns. But I did have a look at this app and I wanted to sort of check it out and see what's going on. The government hasn't released the source code yet, which is scaring a lot of people away from using it. But I think once they release the source code and more information gets out there about the app, how it sort of works and everything. So I had a quick look at it and I downloaded it and checked it out. And basically what it asks for is your first and last name, your birth date range. So are you in the 30 to 39 bracket or the 18 to 29 or whatever, and then it asks you to enable notifications and Bluetooth. Oh, actually it does ask you for your mobile number as well. It doesn't track you via GPS, so it doesn't know exactly where you are all the time. Now, my main concern about this app was it collecting private information, but seeing as while I'm in quarantine anyway, right? So I'm under self-quarantine from basically life. So I don't really leave my apartment too often. And I'm not really going anywhere anyway. So the fact that it doesn't track your GPS data doesn't really mean too much for me, because I'm not really going anywhere anyway for it to really care. And the government knows where I live anyway, so what's the difference? But if I want to stay protected and be alerted of people who currently have the virus, and if it alerts me and I've been to a shopping center and I've walked past someone within Bluetooth range anyway, to say, okay, that person you walk past has COVID-19. We're not going to tell you who they are, but we are going to say that you've been in contact with someone with COVID-19. You should probably stay at home. I'm going to stay the hell at home. So, yeah, it does sort of tickle my privacy fancies a little bit, but at the same time, I think it's actually a really good idea. It's an opt-in system anyway. It's not like the government is forcing anyone to do it, not yet anyway. And even if they did, I don't really think it's that bad of a thing. Once COVID-19 is done and dusted, you delete the app, and sure, the information that you gave to the government about who you were in contact with, who also has the app, it doesn't really concern me at all, because I'm not doing anything dodgy and I don't really care if the government knows where I am anyway, to be honest. And to be completely honest, having worked in different government cybersecurity agencies, they pretty much know that shit anyway, so who cares? Anyway, I guess that's a bit of a rant about this whole thing, and all these people getting up in arms. I mean, you install Google Maps, they know exactly where you are all the time. Anyone who has a Google Home linked to their Google account with Google Maps and Google everything, Google knows everything about you. So would you rather have Google know everything about you, which is a private company and they can, I guess, sell your data or have a data leak, or would you rather your own government have that data to be able to help protect you? And I know that's the angle they always take. It's always about protection and everything, right? But I seriously, I don't think it's a bad thing to have this app installed on your phone so that you can maybe be alerted if you're going to, or if you have been in contact with someone who is very sick and could potentially make you sick. The last thing you want is for yourself to get sick and then to go and visit your nephew or niece or your grandparents or your mum and dad, and then they get sick. You might not get sick being younger or older, whatever, but what if you get it and carry it and then give it to someone else? That's the concern here that I can see anyway. Okay, heading over to the TryHackMe leaderboards, we have ZT3R1 in first place from Sweden, second place Sismex73, third place FreeSol, fourth place Nishnav, and fifth place Rick Sanchez. Threat Yodeling has moved all the way up to sixth place from Australia, so welcome to the top 10 Threat Yodeling. That's awesome. And there's a lot of new players in this list for this month who have sort of shot up to the top of the leaderboard in the last few days of the month. So it's going to be a pretty tight race, I think, to see the top 5. But yeah, we'll check it out and see what happens. Anyway, that's all the news we have for today, as well as the TryHackMe leaderboards. If you guys are in TryHackMe and are trying to compete for that first place prize at the end of the month, please do let me know in the comments below, and I'll shout you out in the next video. As always, if you did like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later, guys.